All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Raw Intuition Health Show. So happy that you're joining us today. We have an incredible guest and a really interesting topic that I'm really excited to talk about. So I will introduce you to our guest here. We have Jonathan Robinson, who is a certified hypnotherapist from Michigan here in the US. He is passionate about empowering people to overcome obstacles and achieve their highest potential. In this video, we are going to talk about how hypnotherapy can help you, in many ways, but also how it can help you break through barriers through maybe if you have diet or lifestyle struggles that you keep running into, maybe some self-sabotage issues, and just how hypnotherapy can assist with getting past those barriers and reaching your fullest potential. So, yeah, Jonathan, let's bring him on to the show here. What's up, Jonathan? How are you?
Hey, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for joining us. Super interested in hypnotherapy, although I'm not that familiar with it, so I'm looking to learn right along with the audience today. But yeah, really excited about learning about this topic and past life regression that you focus on and all that sort of stuff, and really just how it can help, free us mentally, emotionally, or get through blocks that we might be running into. So, thank you so much.
I'm just honored to be able to do this with people from all over the world and connect and help make the world a better place.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you and your service. So, thank you. All right. Well, everybody out there, just a quick reminder. I always forget to mention this, but make sure you hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. And then also go over to Jonathan. Jonathan, do you have a YouTube or just on
I do.
Insta?
It's
Okay.
it's uh Journeys into Past Lives is my socials.
Okay. Perfect. I will get that in the description box down below. But I do have your website and your Instagram linked down below. So definitely, before we get started, everybody go out there, click on the follow and the subscribe button for Jonathan, and learn about this very interesting topic that I think can be very helpful for all of us. So, all right. Kind of how we start the show is just getting a background on our guest and just kind of, what got you into the field? How has it transpired in your own life? And just kind of what has your journey been to where you are today?
Yeah, yeah, I've been I years and years ago, I'm 37 now, but I worked a normal job, high paying, sales job, and was kind of feeling unfulfilled in my life in my late 20s and didn't know why because I had money and material items and things, but I felt empty inside and I said I'm not happy and I don't want to do this my whole life, and I started meditating. I learned transcendental meditation, and I found out I was actually doing it already. I was doing it naturally,
Mm,
and so I eased into that really good. But I quit my job with nothing else lined up. Like a month after that, I kind of had pretty fast awakening, and I just tried all these things I've never done before, like learning violin, yoga, meditation, and other things on my bucket list, but
mm-hmm.
I was only 29. And and even though I didn't pursue a lot of those things, I found out that what I didn't like and what I did like. And so everyone out there, thinking about doing something that you've never done before, just try it and you might find out you don't even like it. And so then you can move on to the next thing. So
Yeah.
um, I, I've always wondered what happens after we die, because, why does no one know that answer? And what's our purpose and why are we here? So I started reading a lot of books on it, spiritual books, past life books, came across Michael Newton and read his work, Dolores Cannon's work. And for those out there, that these are past life regression authors that have many, many books and lots of cases of thousands of regressions that they've done. So it's really interesting books, getting messages from the other side under the hypnosis. And I said, if they can do that, I can too, because I'm a skeptic. I'm like, how can they remember things before this lifetime?
Mm-hmm.
How is that possible? It sounds unbelievable. So I started doing the sessions, and my friends said I had a good bedtime story voice. So I figured, what can I do with that? Hypnotherapy. So
Mm,
started to do hypnotherapy, and one after another, all my clients would go into their past lives, whether I told them it was a past life session or not. At the beginning, I was just practicing on people, and not only that, but they got the really amazing healing from it as well. The releasement of emotions that get trapped in our body were released. It gave them more purpose and clarity. And so I just hit the road running and started posting, and that's where I'm at today.
wow, I love it. That's amazing. And to do that at 29, yeah, I mean, I believe that I checked out your website and yeah, I did, or it might have been on your Instagram, but it listed some things that maybe give you a sign that are connecting to your past lives. And one of them was having like a deep desire to, or, or having like a deep draw to certain experiences, or topics or things like that. So, have you like what have you looked into your past? I'm sure you have, but like your past lives and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. So common signs of past life memories are like deja vu or
Right.
being drawn to a certain era. A lot of people, Romans or Egyptian or Wild West, everyone's a little bit different. Past life dreams and glimpses, and if you feel like you met someone that you've just know them right away without even speaking, a lot of context to them.
Mm-hmm.
So people, um, and if people do have think, oh, this might have a connection, we can do a deeper dive in a session, and I can bring us to that moment, and we can dive into that with a prolonged theta frequency. That's the frequency of hypnosis.
Mm,
Um, and y- well, and so, yeah, eh, yeah, so that's how it works. And so my past lives were pretty interesting because the first time I did this, I thought I was making it up. I
mm,
was getting visions and they were very clear, but in my mind, I was like, oh, I'm just making it up. It's not real. And so a year later, I did a session and I saw the same images with deep connections to me, how I am emotionally.
mm-hmm.
And I realized it's showing me something for a reason. And I paid attention to the signs and went with it.
Amazing. So what are some of the benefits that you would say are, what do you gain from learning about your past lives?
Yeah, there's for everyone it's a little bit different, but spiritual growth, releasing energies. We can carry trauma from childhood or years ago. We can also carry trauma from past lives. Fears, phobias, or birthmarks, if they're unexplained in this life, could be from past lives. I've had a lot of birthmark stories. If it's an emotional charge, death scene with a emotional, physical wound and emotional charge, that could carry over and be affecting us today.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but a lot of times we understand who we are on a deeper level. We overcome cycles or patterns that could be negative, not speaking our truth, not doing certain things, feeling shame for no reason. We can release that and get clarity on next steps moving forward, our purpose, connect with our higher self, and overcome limiting beliefs.
Well, I think that would benefit everybody because I think everybody that I've worked with has issues with those sorts of things, including myself. So, yeah, awesome. All right. Well, let's see here. So, in terms of hypnotherapy and kind of breaking through, like, say, self sabotage, um, what would be something like? Have you seen hypnotherapy? How have you seen that help people with self sabotage?
Yeah, absolutely. So we all have a paradigm in our mind that we made up years and years ago. And that could be that we are good enough and we can do anything and we have unlimited opportunities. That'd be great, right? Or we could be, well, my mom told me I wasn't good enough when I was little, and I'm not good enough. I can't make money and be worthy and have good relationships. And we make those decisions unconsciously, and the unconscious, the subconscious runs 95% of our life. So if the conscious mind is and the subconscious is not on board with that decision, it's going to be holding you back. So after my first set, I did one session years ago, and I won a disc golf tournament. I got a girlfriend, and I was the top sales guy in my company a month later. So that was one session.
Wow.
So all these limiting beliefs that were holding me back, I was able to break through them with one session.
Mm,
And so it's not like months or years. It taps into the deep part of us that is always guiding us and watching us,
hmm
but it helps us break those limiting beliefs and move forward. So the self-sabotage, it could be a feeling of I'm not worthy enough. If we're growing a business, oh, I've never made over this amount. I don't know if I can.
hmm
Well, an elephant, when he's young, they can put it on a stake in the ground with a rope and it can go around. And when it gets older, it can easily pull the stake out, but it doesn't because it learned when it was little not to do that. So that sticks with some of these things can stick with us. So with us, like one session or a few, we can break through those.
Yeah, amazing. I have heard of that elephant scenario. And yeah, it's so fascinating, and it's so relatable, right? Like it is relatable. What we're taught when we're younger really sticks with us and keeps us basically prisoners as we get older. So
Yeah. And the
yeah.
reason is children operate in the theta frequency, the frequency of hypnosis until age 8. So they're being programmed to learn. They can learn very quickly. They absorb everything they need for the adulthood and adolescence complex relationships. But at the beginning, they're just absorbing everything. So it's really important to be positive with children, uplifting, tell them they can do anything because they will believe it and they
Mm,
don't have a shield up. They can also take on negative things, though. So we got to be
sure.
very gentle with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so as an adult, so I guess what does it look like? Like, what does a typical hypnotherapy session kind of look like? Just in general. Like, what would somebody expect if they were going to go through a session?
Well, I hope after this talk, everyone tries it because it's everyone's doing it every day with they probably don't even know it.
Mm,
It's basically a guided meditation. So
okay.
a voice is guiding you and it's helping you relax the breath, the body, and the mind and go into that meditative state. Then we instill positive suggestions that it get absorbed like dry skin absorbs lotion.
Mm,
We can tell ourselves we're worthy consciously, but until we're in that relaxed state, that might not get absorbed as easily. So it's meditation with a purpose or with and a goal to lose weight, stop smoking, past lives, overcome limiting beliefs, whatever it is. And it's very gentle. Everyone can do it. I hope everyone tries it. Hollywood might portray it as mind control, but that's couldn't be further than the truth. If you guys are scared of hypnosis, don't watch the news because
right.
they're using it every day
Yes.
against us. So why not use this superpower as a tool to enhance, our mental emotional state?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like that's why they call it programming, right? Because you're watching a program. It's programming your subconscious mind. And that's why they repeat the same commercials over and over. You watch a show, you get the same commercials basically over and over. Yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So,
we go into hypnosis while we're watching TV, a light state called alpha. So we go into alpha,
mm,
and it's that. So sometimes people feel good kind of watching TV because it's easy and we kind of just zone out.
yeah,
And so we're actually in a light state of hypnosis while you're watching TV. So if you don't want to be hypnotized, don't watch TV.
you're right. Yeah, exactly. And a good way for people to kind of see how this actually happens, or like the result of it. I think anybody out there can remember like a cereal or a commercial jingle, from when they like I can remember so many commercial jingles from when I was like 10 years old or
Yeah.
whatever. And it's like, and I haven't heard them for decades. And now I could repeat them now. So
Yeah.
That's
The
just
Old
how.
Spice one,
Yeah, yeah.
the all the insurance ones,
Yep,
Allstate,
exactly.
Geico. Yeah, and that, yeah, how do we remember those? We're not consciously trying to remember. We're in that state of relaxation and it just gets absorbed. And
Mhm.
so instead of filling it with junk like that, we could fill it with positive things that we want to work toward.
Yeah, absolutely, and, so those are just commercial jingles that we can remember that we, can consciously realize are just external, like they're a company giving us their jingle so that we remember their name. But, what I think most people don't recognize is that a lot of their internal thoughts, which aren't in a jingle form, but they are things that maybe we were told repeatedly as children that now we repeat in our mind, but with our own voice. And so we think that it's like reality, or that it's like our identity, or, coming from our own thoughts, when really we're just repeating basically a negative jingle that's not in a jingle form from when we were kids.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good thought. Sometimes when we rehearse scenarios or arguments or conversations that have happened, we're rehearsing it from our perspective, not the actual thing that happened sometimes. Like two people can be in an accident, car accident. One person can be traumatized, the other person walks away like nothing happened. So our perception is huge.
Yeah. Yeah. So how have you found is the best way? And I know hypnotherapy is a big part of this, but like how do you help people kind of reprogram their mind for success, or for productivity, or to get rid of some of these negative thoughts?
Yeah, and so every session is custom and unique, and we all need help with certain things at the spectrum on how what we need more help with or less help with. So we have a conversation, we identify specific narratives or ideas or challenges, and we instill the positive feelings that you'd like to feel more of. So a typical session is about an hour or 45 minutes for a clinical session like that. And it's very gentle. It's client led, not hypnotherapist led. So you tell
Mm,
them what you want to do it on. And it's very relaxing. And I think people should try it more first as a first. A lot of people come to me as a last resort
mm,
for some reason. But they should come as first because the only side effect is, oh, if it doesn't work, you might be relaxed afterward. So
sure.
it's yeah, so it's kind of like deep programming or un helping the unconscious mind understand what's important, what they want to do, and move toward that
Mm,
in a very relaxing meditation, basically. But it's more powerful than a meditation because the suggestions and the way it's designed is like neuro-linguistic programming, which helps really instill those positive things. So I hope everyone tries it. I do it every day. I do self-hypnosis on myself. It's kind of like that we should meditate every day, right? So
hmm
I throw on a hypnosis of myself, and then I zone out or go into that meditative state and then feel way better afterward.
Okay. So you're meant. So do you record your voice doing or like an affirmation or something that you play back and listen to?
Yeah, and in fact, I should do it more, but
Mm,
I have an app coming out, and the app will have the ability to have custom sessions on anything you want using AI prompts. So
wow.
maybe if someone wants to uh, uh, stop biting their nails or something just really out there, and the app will be able to, I want, today I want success and money. Tomorrow I want relationships. Tomorrow I want this. So you can you'll be able to put in anything you want. There'll be ones that are already there that are common, but I'm excited for that because I'll be the one using it the most probably.
Nice. Yeah, and you have a certification course coming out as well. Do you want to maybe share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I've been doing this several years now, and I want to teach people. A lot of people have been asking me, can you, help me learn, get certified? So I'm doing a certification program. You'll be a certified hypnotherapist afterward. It only takes a few months. And there's a level one is clinical hypnotherapy, learning the basic safety, etc. Then the second level two will be past lives, metaphysical stuff, in between lives, trauma release. So a lot of the more challenging types of things, but really it's pretty simple. Just the technique is what you guys need to learn. And I've been doing this. I've had a lot of success, and I want to share it. And I don't want to teach people to be good. I want to teach you guys to be great. So we're going to have a great program here in a few weeks if anyone's looking to get it learn.
Awesome. Okay. Well, yeah. And that will be, sorry if I missed it, but is that going to be on your website that people can find to sign up for that, or?
Yeah, I'll have it on my website. I'll make announcements on my Instagram and social media.
Okay.
And yeah, just reach out, DM, and we'll add you to the mailing list and kind of share some information about it.
Awesome. Okay. Well, great. Definitely recommend people check that out. And so I was thinking, typically we do like a kind of a back and forth on the show of like a certain topic. Um, and we had talked about maybe doing like tapping into your highest self, like ways that we have found helpful for us to do so, or to help other, how we help other people do that. Um, you know, what like what are like a tip, like what's the first thing that comes to your mind if you were gonna, if somebody was like, Jonathan, how do I tap into my highest self? Like, how do I, break through the masks that I've put on myself that prevent me from real fulfilling, who I think I really am?
Yeah, absolutely. And we want to be our highest self because when we're our true, authentic self, we love ourselves unconditionally and we don't hide. A lot of times when we're younger, we get made fun of and we cover up our personality or our style. And really, we want to be our true, authentic self, the pure version of you before all the stuff happened. And imagine that our spirit, our soul, and ourselves is a fraction of our higher self. A higher self is much more energy, and we can't take it all into this human body yet. The human body, we are evolving as a human race into higher frequency right now, but we can't take all of our higher self in. So the higher self's always watching and guiding us and leading us and wants what's best for us. It loves us. And to tap into it, we we need to realize the material world and our ego and our worldly problems and let go of all that and tap into that frequency, let go, surrender, and go into love. And that's what heart math describes as the alpha 1 coherence frequency, the frequency that when the brain and heart connect. It can be done through breath work like Wim Hof. It can be done through meditation or hypnosis. And we tap into that higher self and we're able to feel and know and get clarity. And really we want to work toward being able to tap into it more consistently so we can think more clearly, do what's right. And a lot of these worldly problems with fighting and arguments are we're not tapped in. We're kind of disconnected from
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And what I've noticed is that, the more we lack understanding of somebody else or of ourselves, that leads to fear, and the fear leads to these, wars and, you know, just violence and things like that. So, I think tying into what you just said is, just getting a better understanding of ourselves and kind of our internal environment is definitely helpful in doing that.
Yeah, let's move. Don't feed the fears, guys.
Right.
Let's move out of fear into love because they keep telling me love is the only way. And I love everyone. I love everyone. We have to love everyone unconditionally, including ourselves. And
Yeah.
that's a really high frequency.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, one of the things that came to my mind was, definitely getting more. Um, I mean, there's a few things. I'll start out with really becoming conscious of your internal talk, your internal dialogue, and just how and this goes back to the programming that we got as children. Kind of determines a lot of our internal dialogue as adults, but becoming aware of how we speak to ourselves. Because I know back, in my early 20s, my teenage years and early 20s, I in even going further back in sixth grade, there was a kid that would always tell him, like, he would always make fun of me. He would not really make fun of me, but he would say, because we used to be close friends, and then we went to different schools, and then when we got back together in middle school, um, we weren't really close anymore, and we had different friend groups. And he would always tell me, "Remember when you used to be cool, or remember when you used to be a cool kid?" So he would always, every time I would see hang or find him in the hallways, he would say that. It was just like a record. And so, like, I always kind of just brushed it off and just kind of laughed. But, um, I think going forward, that, like, having that same message playing over and over really affected me going, in the following years. And so it wasn't until my mid 20s when I got into a holistic, healthy lifestyle and diet that I became conscious and aware of kind of the internal dialogue that I had going on within me, and how it really limited my potential and just my ability to do things that I knew I could or I should be doing. And it just kept me out of certain experiences that I would have, preferred to have. And so, yeah, I think finding a way to become aware, and this could tie into the hypnotherapy, finding a way to become aware of how you speak to yourself. It's not always apparent. Like, a lot of it is very subconscious. And so, yeah, just for me anyways, it's been, meditation, it's been breath work, it's been, um, getting very choosy about who I spend time with, because the crowd that we hang out with can definitely influence how we view ourselves and just view life in general. And so, yeah, those were some of the things that really sparked my development in this field. So, and just becoming more in touch with my true self.
Good, good, yeah. And kids are so rude sometimes. I mean,
They are.
kids are bullies, and it's not fair. And
Yeah.
we all been the bully and been bullied probably, and it's that stuff can, if one day of that you're not cool is okay, but over and over and over, but eventually we
Right.
get vulnerable and it gets in us and we believe it. Unfortunately, I fell off a sailboat when I was 5, and it flipped over, and it was a little sailboat. It was okay,
Okay.
but I was scared of sailing for like 10 years after that. Every time they asked me, "Hey, do you want to go on a sailboat?" No, I don't know why I don't want to go. I just don't, because my subconscious is protecting me from getting hurt. It's so we all have those little things that have happened to us, and it's always a little bit different. But there is a way PTSD trauma can be released in a few sessions. It's not a life sentence. It's just once something that happened to you, so you can alleviate it with these tools. And being aware of your thoughts is really important. Something I teach people is if you have a bracelet, like one of these bracelets, you can, anytime you're aware of thinking negative thought, switch the bracelet to your other hand,
Mm,
change it to positive thought. So you're doing a physical thing and you're aware of it. And the goal is, but in a few days, to not switch the bracelet at all, or just a few times.
sure.
So negative thought, all right, switch it. And if we want to be present or in the moment, whatever you're doing, if you're doing the dishes or cleaning or whatever it is, it's, I'm doing the dishes. I'm doing the dishes. I'm doing the dishes. Just be aware of it and just say what you're doing. And that sometimes we can make ourselves smile and just be in the moment.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love the bracelet trick. I'm gonna try that. Um, and yeah, like you said, you can make yourself smile just by saying that. That's actually another thing that I found to be so helpful in my early days of this journey is I just started smiling at myself in the mirror, you know? Like because we have those mirror neurons and when we see ourselves smile, it just it just triggers something within us that I the way I saw it was that if I see myself happy and smiling, that it would recondition my subconscious programming of who I am and just that I'm a happy person and things like that. So and that it really did. It helped me with just how I felt throughout the day. And when you feel good throughout the day, you tend to do better things for yourself. You maybe exercise more or you do your whatever things you enjoy. So it
Yeah.
definitely can help.
Yeah, look, and I encourage everyone to look at themselves in the mirror every morning and say, I like myself. I love myself.
Right.
And it's okay because we need to love ourselves unconditionally first to give other people permission to love us. And we need more words for love because in English we think of it as romantic, but it's there in Japan, there's like 10 words for it. Universal love, self-love, unconditional love. So that's how we should think about it. And then the romance side is powerful too, but it's not the only love that we should be having.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. I was going to ask you, just kind of interject in this topic, but I know you mentioned that you got into transcendental meditation. I have friends that are also into transcendental meditation. Could you just kind of give an overview of kind of what that is? I know you said you were already kind of doing it. Maybe other people are already kind of doing it already, but can you
Yeah.
explain kind of what that is and how that works?
Yeah, transcendental meditation is said to be the oldest form of meditation that's so old they don't even know how old it is because our history is probably a lie and how many resets that we've had and whatnot. But transcendental meditation is like the foundation, and they say all other forms spread from there. And it's in in the Vedic scripts, there's that are 2000 years old, they're talking about quarks and atoms and molecules and the quantum field, the same thing quantum physics and Albert Einstein's talking about. So they knew about all this stuff. And so the transcendental meditation is meditation in silence, or there's a mantra. So Om or
Mm,
is the universal mantra for and so we can repeat that over and over. So we don't think about any thoughts. We just repeat that until we don't need it anymore, and then we can go within. And imagine you're going, you're meditating, and you hear a thought. Oh, and it kind of brings you out of it. That's okay. It gives you a chance to go deeper. Oh, you hear a noise. Oh, that's okay. It's a good thing. It gives you a chance to go deeper. And you go deeper and deeper and deeper down until you get to the 0 point field, which is the alpha 1 coherence frequency. And they can be measured with the EEG brain scanner.
mm,
All the lobes start to work better together. The body starts to work in harmony. Stem cells are created. Longevity cells. Greg Braden talks about it a little bit with heart math.
mm.
But in 20 minutes, we can get the amount of rest of 2 hours of sleep. And so you can reach that with that or a guided hypnosis or meditation. Um, but transcendental is a good way it's a good foundational one. I don't do it all the time, but I find it very a good foundation.
Okay, awesome. So I know the way I found out about you was through Chelsea, that I had on the show a couple weeks ago. You guys did a uh, basically a hypnosis and sound meditation together,
Yeah,
I believe. And I have noticed, so I've been getting some singing bowls since I saw Chelsea at the retreat, and I've been really experimenting with those. I've noticed that I've been using I have a Tibetan brass singing bowl that I've been using before bed, and I just play it. I just set it on myself and I ding it, several times before I go to bed. I've noticed I've been sleeping way better since doing that. So I mean, is that, I don't know if that's the same thing as like the ohm, because I do kind of hum with it as I tap it sometimes. And yeah, so is that kind of the same thing?
That's really thanks for sharing. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's helping you sleep. It's just tuning in. It's helping the mind or brain tune into that frequency.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, this stuff, sound healing, crystals, Reiki, it's all frequency and as we go around the 26,000 year elliptical orbit, we're going into Aquarius now, and there's cycles and patterns of this existence. And back in the really, really far long time ago, Lemuria and Atlantis, we were more translucent energy beings.
Mm.
We're more dense now, and we're going back into I've had a future life, past life, future life session, and they said everyone's going to be like energy beings that are also biological though. And sound healing, Reiki frequencies will be much more effective on us.
Mm.
So it still is on because we have a physical body is a delayed copy of our energy body, and our energy body has an emotional body and then our aura as well. So we're a multi-dimensional being. So yes, the I think it can be really, really effective. I'm glad it's helping you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's surprisingly been helping. So, yeah, I fall asleep. I mean, I typically fall asleep pretty easily anyways, but just with the sound bowl, it's, I can just definitely tell a difference. So it's, yeah, really cool. Yeah. All right. Well, let's see here. Any other things that come to mind in terms of like that maybe you have found helpful in, just either breaking through barriers to tap into your fullest potential, or anything like that that you want to share?
Yeah, yeah. And so when we're trying to make changes, I help a lot of people that feel stuck. And Albert Einstein says you can't get out of the problem with the same thinking that you got into it with. And so sometimes it's good to get help to get see what other people are doing. If you're, in stock market and you're just brand new, you want to get around other people that are doing it so you improve faster. Well, there is other people out there that perhaps may have gone through the same struggles as you. So buying their books or reading them or listening to podcasts to elevate. And so with hypnotherapy, a lot of times when I do sessions, it's not the what we think is the problem. We have an answer, the one that sounds good, than the actual one. And so I've had a client who is 500 pounds, and you would think, oh, that's just the weight loss, right? They just need to go on a diet. Well, anything over 50 pounds with weight loss typically is emotional. So it's an
Mhm.
emotional self-worth, something there. Our subconscious is trying to protect us, putting a barrier around us to make us look bigger and protect us from something. It could have been abuse from childhood. It could have been whatever it may be. And in this session, the lady was 500 pounds. She tried everything to lose weight. We did a session. She went into a past life as a beautiful, stunningly beautiful priestess for the king, a concubine of the king. So, so pretty. Everyone envied her. She was like Cleopatra.
Mm.
And one day the good king got poisoned by the bad king, and the bad king took over and was really mean guy. He cast a shadow over all the palace and took advantage of the women and mistreated everyone, including her. But he would pick on her a lot because she was really pretty. And she said, in her session, made a vow to never be beautiful again so she won't get hurt like this again. And that vow carried over to this lifetime until we identified the root cause of it and we were able to release it. And she was able to lose hundreds of pounds since then.
Wow.
So sometimes it's deeper than the surface.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Um, I know Chelsea had mentioned the book "The Body Keeps the Score," and I know you mentioned earlier that our emotions can get trapped in the body, which I find I feel that I have emotions from early life that have still been trapped in my body that I should work on releasing. But can you talk a little bit more about how that works and what you've seen with that?
Yeah, great question, great book. You probably don't need to read the whole book for most people. It's kind of repetitive, but the point is the subconscious tries to protect us from getting hurt. It tries to keep us alive. It's like a firewall that doesn't think logically. It doesn't use rational terms. It speaks in colors and metaphors and emotions. And in a hypnotherapy session, we can talk to it in its language and create the changes. So when you're a kid and you touch the hot stove, you know, anytime you go near the stove, your hand just kind of goes away from the stove automatically. That's your subconscious. S- Um, if we're told negative things when we're a kid, that can stick with us too. If I had someone, oh, that's a good example. Well, regardless of what it is, everyone's a little bit different, but
Hmm.
that if we're when I had this one guy, he was a kid and he hates spaghetti and he doesn't know why. Well, when he was 6 years old, his dad yelled at him at the dinner table while he was eating spaghetti and hit him.
Mm.
And that emotion stayed with him and it associated that pain with spaghetti. A lot of hypnotherapists say a lot of allergies is an overreaction to an emotional event that happened during the bee sting or whatever it may be. The allergy is overreacting. So in hypnosis, we can actually help with a lot of that. So I help first responders, people from war, have severe PTSD and they think there's no way out. But in a few sessions, we're able to really alleviate that because the body is just trying to help us. It's trying to protect us. It's serving a purpose. It's trying to keep us safe and not die. But we don't need to relive the past or dwell on what happened. And so if that is surfacing, that's a trigger that's telling us, hey, this is the shadow work I need to look at to heal. And in the safe place of hypnotherapy, we can get a lot of work done in a few sessions and release that. And it's not forgetting, it's just learning the lessons and moving on, leaving the hurt behind. So everyone's a little bit different on what the challenges are, but I hope everyone can look into this more and give it a try and know there is a way.
Yeah, that's definitely that rings true with me, and I mean that can be seen. I've seen that same, how you said as a child, that person as a child when their dad yelled at them eating the SpaghettiOs, and they kind of just associated that feeling with SpaghettiOs. I feel, or I've seen so many people that have positive associations with junk food as an adult
Hmm.
because they
Yeah.
grew up getting cake for their birthday, pizza for their, their report card, go to a sporting event, you have hot dogs and Coke or whatever it is. So, they tie that great feeling, that just warm feeling of all those emotions and in that experience with those foods, and then when they get into adulthood and they feel depressed or stressed or scared or fearful or whatever it is, they go to those foods to feel better, right? And so they've tied those emotions to those foods, just like that person had tied the negative emotion to SpaghettiOs. And yeah, it's just fascinating how that works, and it's encouraging that hypnotherapy can help you kind of release some of that stored up emotion.
Yeah. 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 We do it automatically. We make associations, habits. I mean, here we all go in and out of hypnosis about 12 times a day. If anyone wants an example, like highway hypnosis is when we're driving and we go on autopilot. We were kind of thinking about a thought. We might even get emotional, but we might miss our turn, but we're safe. We're just on autopilot. Before sleep and right when we wake up, or we go in and out and through the theta frequencies. That's a great time to look forward to the next day. And then in the morning, give those positive affirmations consciously. So it's a really natural thing. It's like napping. No one's ever gotten stuck. It's just that doesn't happen. It's just like a nap or a meditation.
Hmm. Awesome. Yeah. Um, All right. Well, let's see. We're getting close to the top of the hour. So if anybody has any questions, we can jump into the Q&A. Do you have any other additional things you wanted to share before we hop into the Q&A?
Yeah, so my social media is mostly for past lives. I do help people with a lot of different things, but for anyone out there wondering the past life regression, so the past life regression is imagine your life as a book, and currently we're on the chapter of your current life, and the pages are being written in real time. The future pages are blank, but the pages in the previous chapters are already written, and pages are written with memories of your past incarnations. So, reincarnation, currently over half the world believes in it from religion, Buddhism, Jainism, Hinduism. Uh, they all believe in reincarnation from a young age, and that's just the way it is. It's the West that kind of forgot. It's past lives is not religious though. It's all encompassing. It's spiritual. I do this with such people from all different religions and walks of life, and everyone can do this. I think everyone can do it. Maybe they don't even need a guide, but having a guide with you can help you through challenging situations. And I hope that this helps people not fear death. And I hope it helps eliminate discrimination because in past lives, we've all been male and female, rich and poor, dark skin or light skin, different cultures. And I hope we can see each other as spirits or the value of how we make people feel instead of our physical differences. We don't get to choose our body. We just go into it. And then we're here now. And so I hope it helps people realize that and make the world a better place.
I love that. Yeah, it's so true, and such a good message to end this part of the show with. So thank you for sharing that. I completely resonate with it, and hope that people will check out your services and your site, and your Instagram and YouTube. So yeah, those are all linked down below, or the YouTube will be down there after the show. But yeah, that's awesome. Okay,
Thanks.
yeah, appreciate it. All right, let's jump over to the Q&A room. So here we go. And now let's get any of the questions that you guys have for Jonathan. Liv has a question. She says, "Are there any more specific story, or are there any more stories Jonathan can share about his own past life regressions or any of his favorite from clients?"
Yeah. Great idea. So I'll share a story with a client I had when I was first starting, and I call this one Assassin's Creed because it reminds me of that video game. So I had this really spiritual lady, and she went into a past life as in thousands and thousands of years ago. And she was this very capable man that was strong and agile and was on a mission. I said, "What's your mission?" She says she needs to find the amulet before the other armies do. I'm like, "What is the amulet?" She said, "Anyone that holds it, it's like a crystal that anyone holds, it'll amplify their emotions out into the world and manifest." And I said, "Oh, okay." And so other people know about it and they're looking for it. I say all these countries are looking for it. It's really important. And I said, "Okay, what happens next?" And she goes on this journey. It took her months to follow this other army, and she was like up in trees, kind of watching them. I said, "Aren't you scared they're gonna find you?" She said, "No, I know the earth. I know the ways. I know the secret paths. I'm very quiet like a cat. They can't find me." And I said, "All right, what happens next?" And she said, "I'm in a tree and I see a shooting star, and the shooting star leads me to this person's house where they give me supplies and things for the journey and, give her a night's sleep." I said, "Okay. And then what?" And so she's up in this cliff and she enters the cave and she finds the amulet. And when she was holding it, she said her whole body started vibrating and she felt really, really good. And she said, "It's absolutely amazing." And I said, "Well, what are you going to do with it?" She said, "Humanity's not ready for it yet. We need we need to hide it until we raise the consciousness of the planet so we can use it in the future. And right now it'll be used for bad, she thought, because the army was going to it. And so, okay, what do you do with it? She says, all right, well, I'm going to take it. I wrap it in a cloth and I'm going to take it. The army didn't get her. And she went to another mountain miles and miles away. And she was able to hide it in there. And she drew a map. She drew a map to where it is. I said, where's the map? Because, I wanted to find this thing, right? So the map is it's like in Peru, and it's in a really secret location that you need to go through like a portal to get to it. I don't know. It was a pretty wild story, and I always remembered that one, and so that's a good example for her, and it gave her strength to pursue her spiritual gifts, being a leader, and every past life session has background things that are happening as well. So.
It's fascinating. I can only imagine the just the stories and experiences that you experience, or you hear in this profession. So yeah, that's really neat.
I had one I wanted to share real quick about. I had a session yesterday, and a lady feels like her throat, she can't speak her truth. And in a past life, she was a little girl and a witch. She was like this scary witch that was on her street like a long time ago, and like thousands of years ago. And the witch gave her a seed, and she ate the seed, and she started choking. She was like in the session, she was actually choking. I was kind of worried about her,
Hmm.
but she was like, the seed got in my throat. And I said, okay, so we did some energy clearing on it. But she said the witch reminds her of her aunt. And in this life, her aunt would never let her speak. She had to stay with her aunt for a year or so. And the aunt would be so rude and mean to her and wouldn't let her speak. And she felt just diminished, unfortunately. And that reminded her of her aunt in her throat. Then in another past life, she was beheaded in battle. So her neck got cut, and then she beheaded someone else. So all this trauma in the neck. Well, we were able to clear that using some energy healing techniques we do in the session. And her voice sounds different. It's just more, she had all that trauma in her neck, on her throat chakra. And now her voice is more clear. She's able to speak her truth. She doesn't hesitate to talk in front of audiences. It's safe to speak again.
Wow. So amazing. Um, what I don't see any other questions yet, but anybody else, if you have any other questions, Sherry says she wants that. Said, okay, I want that. But yeah, um, any other questions, you guys? Throw them in the chat. We've got a few minutes left here. Um, what I guess maybe my final question is, um, what is like what's the most practical first step somebody can do, aside from setting up a consultation, like that they can do tonight or today that will help them kind of start to maybe move in this direction of releasing, whether it be past emotional issues or whatever it is.
Yeah, I think there's a few different ways. The Wim Hof breath is a really good breath work technique that you can do 30 or 40 or 50 breaths in 3 rounds. That helps you connect with the higher self and move the energy around, shifts it naturally. I love that because you don't need any substance or drug or anything to eat or drink or even air for that moment of clarity in the breath work. Um, on my YouTube channel, there's a few guided meditations. My app is called Sub Journeys into the Subconscious. It'll be out hopefully next week, and there'll be a bunch of different journeys, single sessions, breath work, and a lot of different things on there. Um, and the books, the spiritual books, past
Mm.
life books, people dedicate their whole lives into writing some of these books, and they can be so enlightening. and a book is way it is different than a podcast because it's more structured. It's for a specific topic, and I do audiobooks mostly, and
Hmm.
so I think start reading some past life books and kind of books on that, as well as the guided meditations and hypnosis sessions.
Awesome. Okay. Sherry says, how many sessions does it take on average to have a breakthrough?
Usually just three.
Hmm.
So I usually do a session for the past life regression if people are ready for that, or I do 3 session package. That's for people maybe they have childhood or some stuff challenges in this life. We want to clear that first. That's priority number one is this life. We get clear that, and then we can go back further to see if there's anything else there. But yeah, just like 3 sessions is what I usually start with.
Very nice. Let's see. Sherry says, many lives, many masters. What is your view on this book if you're aware of it?
Yeah, so Many Lives, Many Masters by Brian Weiss, I believe is a really good one. It's written 100 years ago or something, a long
Oh,
time ago.
hmm.
Um, Brian Weiss, Edgar Casey were pioneering the past life world back then, and you know, it just brings more validity to what we do. I really like that book. It's very like Alan Watts like written.
Hmm.
It's very philosophy and later on, Dolores Cannon is more like storytelling, like bedtime storytelling, mythical creatures. Michael Newton's more clinical. Jim Tucker did a bunch of books on children's past lives, thousands of cases with detectives that ask the child where he came from. It's children's past lives is interesting because how does a 3-year-old know all this information? Where
Yeah.
is he getting it from? He's so young and innocent. And then he's telling the mom, remember when I was the dad and I scolded you? Or remember when I did this and before I came down from the castle in the sky? And it's like 4-year-old, you know?
Hmm.
So it's yeah, validity. But I love that book. Thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah. Thank you, Sherry. Okay. Any other questions, anybody, before we sign off here? It's been a great show. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Jonathan, for sharing all this information and helping people to release some stored up stagnant energy and break through some of these challenges that we have. Sherry says challenging people in our lives usually linked to past lives with that person? Question mark.
Sometimes, yeah. So our spirit group is a group of like-minded souls that choose to incarnate with each other to teach each other lessons. That could be our soulmate. We could be the parent and they could be the child. Or, and then we'll switch roles. So if they were the male last time, they might want to be the female this time. And so we switch roles. Maybe they were the parent last time, so they want to be the child and experience that. I had this one guy, he kept killing his spirit friend in battle.
Hmm.
They would come back and they would kill each other in battle, and every time it'd be a little different. Now he's as condescending, his the guy is his condescending boss at work. And so they still had that relationship to mend, and they did mend it. But the universe will test you until you pass the test. So what not why is this happening to you, but the outlook is what is this teaching me? And how seeing it from a higher perspective, maybe there's more there than meets the eye, and and hopefully understanding it a little bit more. If you guys were really fighting in a past life, and so you get near each other, even if you don't say anything to each other, you might just repel each other and not want to be around each other. And so that's that feeling that maybe you're getting. And if you're getting that, maybe it's deeper than what seems appears to be.
Mm. Yeah. Allie says, what are your thoughts on twin flames?
Yeah, they're most likely part of our spirit group. Or what is a twin flame is someone that's kind of temporary and then you don't long term. Yeah. Yeah, we hopefully we should be have mutual respect and mutual love, and we choose people that make each other better. I think twin flames make each other better and raise each other's vibration. So we can have more than one of those.
Sure. Very cool. All right. Great questions, everybody. Thank you for throwing those in there. Let's see if there's no others. We are past the hour, so we can start to close things up here. But yeah, really great questions. And I do like to do the giveaway at the end of every show of one of my ebooks. So somebody that asked a question, I'm just going to still working on getting my wheel back onto this program. But for now, we're just going to use the mouse. And I'm just going to let it go up and down until it hits somebody. It landed on Allie. So, Allie, you get a free ebook. You can email me at matt@myrawintuition.com, and you can get a free ebook of mine for your participation in today's show. So, thank you so much. And Jonathan, thank you again for being here and taking time out of your day to share this information with us. I really appreciate it. And I know everybody else is leaving good comments as well. So, again, everybody, the links to Jonathan's webpage, his website, and his Instagram is down below. I'll get his YouTube down there as well. But definitely give him a follow and check out his Instagram and everything he's putting out there. It's great stuff. So, yeah, thank you again, everybody. Join us again next week, same time, same place, and we'll have another show for you. So, till then, always follow your raw intuition.